Yes. Goddamn, Rob Van Dam. Listen to True Hill Heat. Pow.
Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3, and we are live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for our Dark Side of the Ring Season 3, Episode 4. This time we are talking about Collision in Korea from 1995. I am back once again with the conductor of reporting himself, Mr. Romeo Anthony Colon.
What's up, fam? Last week's episode, the Nick Gage one, I didn't know a lot about his story. This one, I know even less.
Gotta love it. Gotta love how that works out. And of course, we are with the lovely, the beautiful Miss Krssi Luv.
Hello, everybody. What's going on? I too, Romeo, didn't know about Nick Gage, and I didn't even know about this one as well. So let's get it poppin'.
Oh, yes. So if you are watching us on YouTube right now, drop us a like, share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family. Of course, if you are watching us live on YouTube, drop your thoughts on this episode in the live chat. If you want to be highlighted, one of your comments during this live stream, leave us a super chat. Any domination, $1 or more, we will highlight your comment. We will talk about what you had to say and your thoughts. If you got any questions, send us a super chat and we will definitely answer it. And of course, we love to highlight some of the other comments, so continue dropping your thoughts in the live chat. If you're watching us on Facebook or Twitter as well, drop us a like, a heart emoji, an angry emoji, a laugh emoji. However the Collision in Korea Dark Side of the Ring episode made you feel, let us know with those emoji, and tag a friend in the live chat so they can watch along with you. So yes, we like to go around with these Dark Side of the Ring episodes, A&E biography episodes, and find out one word to describe how you felt about the episode. Let's start with Miss Krssi Luv.
Intense.
Damn, that was my word.
Really? I'm so sorry, friend. You can use it too. So you got two of the same thing, intense and intense. What about you, SP?
I'm going to say very, very bizarre. It was very, very
that's
bizarre.
A good one, friend. That's a good one.
Bizarre.
You know what? You could take intense. I'll take scared. How about that one?
Oh, yes. We found out a lot of people were scared during this episode, during this whole ordeal with their trip to North Korea. Basically, this is when WCW and New Japan Pro Wrestling decided to take a trip to North Korea during their Peace Party festival and do a professional wrestling show. And my, oh my, the dangers, the stories, and the bizarre nature in which North Korea reacted to these superstars. Let's get into it. Romeo, you are usually the quarterback whatever show you're on. You did a great job on the WrestleMania Backlash live stream. So let's get to it this week with Dark Side of the Ring Season 3.
So, piggybacking on that, Eric Bischoff wants to reestablish a failed relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling. We meet Inoki, who Bischoff calls the Vince McMahon of Japan. And they show some background on Inoki. Remember that great shoot fight with that fat dude who didn't want to sell for him. He beat the shit out of him. And classic. It's on YouTube. Check it out if you haven't.
Yes.
Also, the 1976 is wrestling boxing match with Muhammad Ali. Another classic. So they have him to speak to. He talks about how he created the Sports and Peace political party.
Mm-hmm.
He frequently told North Korea that the Japanese government didn't appreciate. He wanted to introduce wrestling to them to sort of calm things down. And North Korea wanted to invite the world's biggest name, Michael Jackson. Ali, another guy who was about breaking down barriers and bringing peace. Inoki wanted Hogan. And he wasn't surprised of how careful Hogan would be as Hogan gave the word, can't make that one, brother.
vintage Hulk Hogan right there. Couldn't make it. He didn't want to get involved. Didn't want to put his life at risk, which makes sense when you're Hulk
Smart.
Hogan.
Yeah.
And you're not the biggest fan of different minorities.
Yep. Ooh, they would have crucified his behind if he would have went there.
Sure, when
Surely.
Hogan turns you down,
Who's the next best thing?
what's plan B? What's plan B? Woo! The nature boy! Flair.
Be fair to Flair.
And Flair's down for it, but he's a little hurt that he's the second in Bischoff. And if you ask me, Flair, I think just wanted to check out the women and alcohol in North Korea. That's why I think he went.
Well,
Yeah, that makes sense. That seems right up Flair's alley. He could party. He felt like he can party, in a new place, but he had no idea what he was getting himself into either.
facts.
Did we lose Romeo?
Scott
I was about
Norton,
to say, oh.
working in New
Okay.
Japan, gets told he's in the locker room. He's going to be the North Korea card, and
I think Romeo is on a delay, and he's freezing up. He may.
Tremendously.
See, yeah, I knew that was coming. But yes,
He did something like I did yesterday.
yeah, it happens. Get ready for that episode
With us.
of True Hill Heat 126 with Miss Krssi Luv against Wi-Fi. But yeah, we'll wait on Romeo to man the ship on this episode. Real quick, I did want to touch on, since we're early on, we got a few people watching us on Facebook, few people watching us on YouTube. Of course, share with a friend. We love the engagement. Leave your thoughts in the live chat. There's Romeo.
Mr. Cologne.
He's loading. There he is. Romeo.
can you
against
guys
Wi-
hear me well?
Yes, we can hear
Yes,
you.
I can hear you.
All right. So left off at Scott Norton. He gets told he's going to be on the North Korea card. And a history lesson for everyone. Eric Bischoff explains that the Japanese and Koreans have been killing each other for thousands of years. So there's no love lost.
Yeah, I love Scott Norton talking about how he was told in the New Japan locker room about them going to North Korea about a month before. And then he noticed that all the other wrestlers, the Japanese wrestlers, were worried. And he was like, and basically, I think he said he went to Masahiro or Chono or someone, and they told them, they was like, yeah, they hate us over there. They want to kill us.
That should have been the red flag right there. Don't go.
Exactly.
Oh, there's a lot of red flags in this episode.
Ridiculous amounts. Before they even get on the plane, there is a bunch of red flags.
Yep.
Too Cold Scorpio was interviewed for this, and he's one of the stars of this episode. He said he was excited to travel and see the world, and you can't blame him for that. But a little excited to see a communist country.
Right.
It's a little something different.
Why not? Something new, something cool.
And the only black man that was there besides Muhammad Ali.
Also true.
And his entourage, But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
He's a lot less famous than Muhammad Ali as well.
A lot. But, hey, again, you're going to a communist country that don't like Americans, and you're a black American at that one.
Hey, Uncle Scorpio, he was just ready to have a good time.
He really was, though. He just wanted to fight and go another place in the world, just check it off his list. So they say.
Eric Bischoff
there you go.
explained skipping asking the United States for permission because of how long it would take. Ted Turner, his boss, didn't even know they were going.
Right, like
that's outrageous. Not only does the U.S. government not know you're going when you're going into a communist country, your boss, Ted Turner, like you abused his checkbook and signed all these guys from WWF, and you can't even take the time to tell them that you're putting all your employees at risk of dying by going to North Korea. That's ridiculous. Eric Bischoff, he should be
Scumbag.
sued for liability or like negligence, whatever it's called.
Something.
We don't have Stat King here with us to tell us what it would be, what it would be in the courtroom. Damn.
Yes, definitely.
Romeo's he's really glitching. He's like you yesterday when you were like.
There was great footage of Muhammad Ali meeting the wrestlers at the airport doing magic tricks.
Mm-hmm.
I like his little magic trick. It got everybody at ease. It made Scott Norton feel better at least.
Until. Mr. Cologne?
I mean, I'd feel a lot better going to North Korea if I had Muhammad Ali and Antonio Inoki with me.
Would you now?
I think I would.
I don't know, but okay.
I mean, at least there's less chance. At least there are actual celebrities in North Korea. Like, Muhammad Ali is worldwide known. Antonio Inoki is considered like a son of North Korea due to his connection to Rikidōzan. So at least they have that.
Right.
They had to take a North Korean military plane in Tokyo because, as Bischoff says, you can't call Delta and get a flight to Pyongyang. Flair, of course, loses it, not being able to fly in style or being comfortable. I love Scorpio mentioning how you can see the cannons pointed in both on the border while flying on it. Intense.
Yeah, when he said that he saw the cannons pointing from South Korea at North Korea, and then saw the cannons from North Korea to put it at South Korea.
That's like
you're basically going into a war zone. Like you're basically going knee deep into an entire war, and that's insane. That's crazy to me. I give these guys all the credit in the world because I would have backed up and I would have been like, "What's the first flight back out of this joint?" When I've seen the cannons on my way there.
I don't even think they would have let you leave right away, though, friend.
Also true, because we're about to find out
next part. Yep.
How they were greeted, I guess, quote unquote greeted, when they finally made it to North Korea. I think Romeo is frozen again. He hasn't moved, and there he goes. But thankfully we got some people watching us on YouTube right now, so we can answer a few questions. One of the elite good eggs of the True Heel Heat YouTube channel. She's been supporting us a lot lately. She even supported me on Wrestling Daily this week. Rachel Cornell, she says yay SP3 and Romeo, and she says Krssi, hi, also first time seeing you.
Hello.
How do you all know each other? All through wrestling? ? You want to answer this one, Krssi? How did you meet us?
I met these gentlemen at a wrestling viewing party. And I think within maybe the first 10 or 15 minutes of meeting SP, we got into a combative argument about Ronda Rousey. I think, right?
Yes.
And we've been brother and sister ever since. But they just loved that I was the guys were just like, wait, who is this girl? And why is she arguing with SP like this? We love her. Bring her back. But yes, I met them all at a bar watching wrestling. And not too many girls will be there. It's mostly a bunch of guys. But yes, we met at the bar and we've been cool ever since. And we've just been watching and hanging and stuck with each other. How about that?
Yes, not a lot of people who can go back and forth with me in a wrestling debate or wrestling argument, as it usually breaks down with me. But the few females that do have my wife Tia, that's why I love her, and my sister here, Miss Krssi Luv. She definitely, and they both like Becky Lynch and prefer her over Ronda Rousey. So that's why they get along as well. So. So yes, that's how we met Krssi, and she's been a mainstay on our weekly podcast, True Hill Heat, ever since. You can see her on True Hill Heat 126 tomorrow. We'll go live with True Hill Heat 127 next Saturday. We're got not only Krssi, we got the lovely Stephanie Chase, and I can announce that we're gonna have from the Grabble app podcast, a person who was on our podcast before, Richard Benson will be back with us. So it's gonna be a double or nothing party next Saturday.
All right,
True
make
Hill
sure we have the
Heat.
alcohol ready.
It's gonna be 9 a.m. for us.
I'm about to
2 p.m. 2 p.m. for them. So
I'll probably have champagne for Stephanie.
Oh, that's classy. That's classy. Yeah, she does like her champagne.
I'll make a mimosa. It's gonna be morning time. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. Brunch it up.
Brunch it up. There we go. SP. Yes. So tell Stephanie I'll have my mimosas on deck ready.
Absolutely. And as far as me and Romeo, I actually found that I met Romeo through a wrestling group page on Facebook, and I always just saw him, and he would always be making posts about like Charlotte Flair or Ric Flair, always in support of that. Always thought he was funny. And then me and the True Heels, the OG True Heels, we went to a Ring of Honor event at Hammerstein Ballroom, and we went to a bar afterwards, and Romeo was sitting in the bar, and I was like, "Oh, I know you. You're you from the wrestling group." He was like, "Yeah, I know you too." And we just met, we hit it off, and we've been friends and rivals ever since. We have a very combative type of relationship. It wasn't the Ronda Becky type of thing. It was the fact that Romeo hated Roman Reigns, and me and the True Heels, we loved Roman Reigns. So that was our combative nature. We were rivals first, and then we turned into friends. So that's how I met Romeo. And then Rachel saying, "Aw, so cute," talking about how Krssi met the group. We got Brett Thomas saying, "Are you all buying the Logan Paul versus Floyd fight?" Krssi Love?
It's all for cash, man. Like, can we just be honest? Floyd doesn't even need any money, but I guess if the money is right, he's going to do it. And I guess the money is good. So, I mean, it's just like any entertainment, any entertainment to entertain the people. They're going to go back and forth with each other, because I guarantee you, once the fight is over, they're going to hug each other. And they're going to say, "Oh, I have so much respect for this dude. Oh, yeah, man, blah, blah, blah." Like, so, yeah, I'm not buying it. I'll probably watch it. Who knows? If someone invites me to a fight party, I'll go to their house. I'll see if I can get it on someone's free app or whatever and go from there.
Sounds about right. I'm gonna definitely probably be streaming it. I won't be paying my hard-earned money for this.
There you go.
Because I would never pay hard-earned money for a Paul fight. I'm sorry, Brett. Right. I know you're the captain of the Brett Paul and the Logan Paul and Jake Paul movement. He's like the advocate for. He's like the Paul Heyman of the Paul brothers. So,
got you. Okay. Well, Brett, hey, listen.
I'm going to call him Brett Paul. He's Brett Paul. He's Brett Paul from now on.
Paul, yep.
He also says that he keeps laughing about the box-like structure, box-like shape, hashtag box-like shape on Power 4 SP3. Yes, John Scott got me a GIF in a box-like structure. It was a autographed Bret Hart shirt that he got me for my birthday. So that's going to be coming in the mail for me. So I'm looking forward to that. And we got Lewis Young saying, "Hi, SP3. Hi to you." And say hi to Krssi too, Lewis. Come on.
Hi, Lewis.
Krissi's here too. Romeo seems to be having issues with his Wi-Fi and connecting. It's a lot of delay for him right now. So what we're going to do...
keep it doing?
Yeah, we're going to keep it going. We're going to keep it going. Hopefully he will solve those. Maybe he could join us back towards the tail end of this episode. If not, Romeo will be back with me on Monday for our A&E biography review. But yes, we got to talk about when the wrestlers from Japan finally and from the U.S., from WCW, finally made their way to North Korea. Scott Norton tells the story that basically they came off the plane, and once they got in the airport, it was a very hostile reaction to them. The military, the Korean military, basically took their passports. Scott Norton talks about them taking his Walkmans and basically letting them know that Yeah, basically, yeah. You see the flashback of them like throwing everything up in the air.
The hell? What just happened? Okay, guys, I guess I'm the only one here. Don't know what happened to SP. Hold on. We'll see what happens. Give us a second. Don't know what's going on. Everyone's Wi-Fi is bad today. Not cool. Don't know what's going on. Everyone's Wi-Fi. Let me see where they are. Hold on. Let me call some friends. The sad part is I can't even see like everyone's comments. But it's okay. I'm here. There you go.
Yes.
I'm like, I was about to start talking to people like, hey guys, I don't know what happened to everyone, but you know.
You're like, I'm here though.
I'm here though. I was like, let me check the YouTube, and it was like, it's just me. Oh, it is really just me. Okay, guys, well, let's, you know.
Because I had like said the whole thing about them getting off the plane, and I didn't hear a reaction, and then I get a message from my wife that yeah, you're frozen, by the way. So that's what I was like, yeah, I should take this, because I had multiple tabs open on the Chrome.
Okay.
So I was like, let me take this into his own Chrome window, and then it said, oh, you have to try again, and then I was able to come back. I'm back with us. This is probably the most
plane, and so did you.
This is probably the most chaotic live stream we've done thus far. Thank you, everyone who's been bearing with us, who kept Krssi Luv company.
I was like, I can't even read your comments. So I'm like, hey guys, you know, it's me. About to give you a big bio of myself while I wait.
So yes, Romeo sent me his notes as well at that time, so I could say, yeah. So they land, and military questions them, grabs their passport and other belongings. Didn't want anything American in their country. Can't be losing your passport in another country. But Norton knows they hate them, and Flair is losing his shit again.
Out of everyone, he's the one that's having the most issues adjusting to where they are.
When you're in the
this dusty Air Force, they're not at the regular airport like everybody else. No, they're in an air base that probably has, like Norton said, has never probably even been in there for like years, and just like being yelled at, people with guns is like, I would have been petrified. I'd be like, and like you said, how can I get on the first plane home? Send me back. I don't want to do this no more. Yeah. Send me back.
I don't want to be here anymore. Like I would immediately just be like, I'm out of here. First flight back, or I'll take a bus back, a train back. It don't matter.
Something.
But yes, we continue on with what happened after they get to the airport. So I got to scroll up here. He's got a lot of notes. I will give Romeo credit. He does a lot with.
He always does.
So they are paired off into twos and accompanied by chaperones. I guess you could say, but basically it's military personnel. And and yes, that could be taken as another red flag.
Yep.
Another big red flag there. Bischoff is told he's only the 7th American who hasn't been shot or captured to walk into Pyongyang, which is the city in North Korea where the event is taking place. Sonny Ono is also here as one of the talking heads, and he's told by a North Korean official that to don't rape our women. That was an exact demand from the North Korea officials that are being their chaperones. Don't rape our women. This is quite fascinating, I will say.
It is very fascinating because, like, the first thing out of your mouth is "don't rape." I'm just here to do a show. Like, I'm here for peace. Nothing bad.
They're here for a peace party, Krssi. A peace party, and they're being told to don't rape our women. History. A history lesson here from Romeo. He says Japan ruled over North Korea up until World War II, and it was brutal.
Yeah. So that's why they have. That's another reason why they have beef, and that's why they were trying to have this peace treaty. But hey.
Exactly. So North Korea forces the wrestlers to lay flowers at a memorial honoring North Korea's great leader who had
died a month ago.
Yes, who had passed away. No, the year before.
Okay.
Propaganda is filmed in order to make them look like they are having such a great time there.
No.
And Romeo notes another red flag.
I'm about to say, I don't understand how they look like they're having a great time when you can look on the video footage itself shows them just like, okay, all right, let me just lay this flower here. Let me just walk back. Like there's nobody smiling. No one is happy. Everyone looks scared as hell. Like another red flag. Let me go home. Give me my passport. Let me leave.
There's so many red flags and we haven't even got to the event yet.
Right. Day one.
Wrestlers, Scott Norton describes as Tuco Scorpio, wrestlers are spied on in their hotel rooms by military standing guard. They would turn on the TV to kind of try to pass the time, and it was just 3 channels, all political government content. Basically, Tuco Scorpio said, like, what's the use? This is not going to let me pass the time because all I'm seeing is military crap. Norton, Benoit, and Hawk go to play pool downstairs in the hotel where they're staying at, and military guys had to give them clearance to even get to use the pool table and to use the pool table balls. Norton shoots a bad shot which goes off the table, and oh shit, the game is over because the military personnel loses it due to this because they were like, how dare you shoot the ball.
Like it was an accident. Like clearly no one's having fun in this country. Clearly.
Not at all. And speaking of Romeo, he says, I feel like I got North Korea Wi-Fi connection and I'm stranded. Yes. North Korea, they tapped into our live stream and they knew we were talking ill of North Korea, and they took Romeo out because Romeo was the guy with the notes. Facts. And Rambo's like, holy crap. He says, I don't think it's the people are mean there. It's so isolated from the outside world. Like they don't get any social media, etc. They only see what the dictator wants them to, and propaganda. Yeah, pretty much. Like that's
so
real.
Sad. Yeah.
That's what they kept really like letting us know throughout this whole ordeal. We got to move on to Eric Bischoff, who tells the story about him waking up in the morning and he takes off for a run.
Why?
Bad idea.
Did you not even? Well, you know what? He had a bunch of bad ideas because he brought all these people over here anyway. So whatever.
That was bad idea number 1. Yes, I agree.
With no one's permission, the U.S. and your boss. Right there. So he's full of bad ideas right now. So go ahead.
He says everyone outside can't believe what he's doing. Kids are terrified of him. They've never seen an American in their life. All they've been told is that Americans are evil.
Right.
Bischoff realize how easy it is to implement hate and how dangerous that can be. Bischoff's chaperone is livid when he makes it back to the hotel, and Eric realizes that he doesn't see her. If he doesn't see her tomorrow, it might be because she is dead for allowing him to take off on a jog. What is your reaction to that whole story, that Bischoff on his jog, Krssi?
Just like you were not thinking, very bizarre. Like, why do you think it's okay to just go for a run and say, hey, yeah, let me run through all these people? And when you get back, he was like, if she's not there, is she dead? Well, I guess she didn't die because they didn't really speak about that part anyway.
Yeah, they left that alone.
They left that part alone, right?
I hope that's because, everything turned out all right and not because it didn't.
But it was very bizarre that you thought that it was okay to run in this country. You already see how you traveled there. You have nobody's permission to be there. So no one knows where the hell you are except your maybe your wife. And, and you brought these people over here with you. So just like, Eric, you got to do better. You should have been thinking better.
He was not really thinking a lot through this. He had a one-track mind. He was about, getting the most people possible, having this big event, big show. He wasn't really worried about all the consequences that would go with it. But
right.
As we would learn, there was more that Eric Bischoff didn't know what was going on during this whole trip. As we learn of the story, and Bischoff does as well for the first time, of Tuco Scorpio plotting to kill Road Warrior Hawk in North Korea.
Oh my God.
I repeat, for everyone watching with us, he plotted to kill Road Warrior Hawk in North Korea, even though they were already gonna get killed if something went wrong. But anyway,
exactly. Digress. Go ahead, friend.
all of this stems from a grudge Tuco Scorpio developed against Ric Flair, thinking he's the cause of Scorpio getting fired from WCW a few years prior. Scorpio calls Flair a pussy when Hawk is seeing that Flair is outside the bus looking for someone to ride with him. Hawk didn't like that. Coming to Flair's defense, basically Scorpio, he asks Scorpio, what did you just say? And he was like, no, leave that pussy out there. And he was like, which part did you miss, the bitch or the pussy? And
I was like, this man right here. I was like, oh my God. And I wasn't even on the bus. I'm like, is he serious right now? Mind you have a job. You work with the company. They brought you to Korea. And you still upset with Ric Flair?
Yep.
Why? Because he got more money? I don't understand. Like, come on, dude. Like, get it together.
Tuco Scorpio seems like he's a little bitter at some of the bigger stars in wrestling, as we would go on to learn, but that is for later. We're going to continue with this story. Hulk, of course, didn't like that. Hulk calls Scorpio the N-word with the hard R, and Scorpio...
Sure, he did. Yeah, he definitely said with the hard R. Emphasize the N and then the R.
Scorpio didn't like that himself, and they get into a fight on the bus. Scorpio describes that Hawk misses a right, and Scorpio lands a couple of blows to the head. It's honestly, we're gonna get the episode, The Plane Ride from Hell, but this sounds like the bus ride from hell, because this is so much going on. You're in the middle of a war zone, a communist country, and you're getting into a petty fight because Tuco Scorpio is still bitter at Ric Flair, and Hawk apparently is on like hepatitis pills that Scott Norton describes to us. Scott Norton and Road Warrior Hawk are good friends growing up in the Minneapolis, Minnesota area, and he basically tells the story on his end that if Hawk wasn't on these hepatitis pills, that he would have killed Scorpio. While Scorpio,
I knew that man was high. I knew he was high because it was like he got. So for you guys to have a fight like that and a huge fight like this, I was like, someone had to be on something or off something, and people were not in their right mind. So,
yes, no one seems to be in their right mind going into this whole situation.
You know what? Everyone that got on that plane, yes.
Pretty much. Scott Norton then tells his own story where he tries to call his wife. They argue on the phone because he hasn't called his wife in 3 days since he made it over to North Korea. She's not happy, not hearing from him from that long. Norton tried to explain his situation, but the phone is cut off dramatically where he thinks that she has hung up on him. Norton destroys the phone and is like breaking down his whole hotel room when military guys speaking perfect English knock on his door and tell him to come with them. Another red flag, ladies and gentlemen. Scott fearful for his life is in a room by himself with the North Korean officials and military, and he's getting chastised for saying anything negative about North Korea. He realizes that they have basically tapped his phone and were listening to his conversation with his wife. He somehow survives. Sonny Ono talks about that Inoki and the people from New Japan was probably the ones to get Norton out of this situation. Norton says, you think someone would have gave me the heads up that our phones were fucking tapped? Like, what the hell? This is insane. How would you feel if you're on a trip with your job and they are tapping your phone calls, where if you say anything negative about the place you're at, they are going to take you away and may just kill you? How would you feel, Krssi?
Petrified. I like, again, especially like you didn't speak to your wife, so your wife is probably now like like trying to figure out what's happened. Maybe something happened to him. She's being, nervous. So I can understand why she was mad. But he said, she thought he was partying with women. I was like, no, this country is not for parties, ma'am. This is not that type of country. And it was like, y'all didn't know where y'all was going before y'all got there. So it was like, give me the heads up. But yeah, I wish they would have let them. Again, you give me 3 channels to only watch. I can't probably even listen to a radio because you took my stuff when we was at the base.
Walkman, yeah.
You took my Walkman, so I ain't got no music. So when I finally get to speak to my wife, I'm like, hey, but no one lets me know that the lines are tapped. So I like, yeah, they should have let the neglect on them. Like they should have definitely let them know, like, hey guys, just if you make a phone call, you already know that we're being watched. We've got people outside of our doors with guns. So yeah, I would think that something would be tapped, or you even watch me inside too. I'm sure they were watching them inside too.
Oh, absolutely. They probably were watching them sleep at some certain
right.
Rambo talks about how North Korea used to invite that basketball player. Then he tells us who the basketball player is. It was, of course, Dennis Rodman. That Kim Jong-un liked him. Yeah, apparently Dennis Rodman and Kim Jong-un was actually really good friends.
Good friends, yeah.
I think we learned about that a little bit in the Last Dance documentary, right?
Yes, we did.
Dennis Rodman, a man of the people, everywhere. Propaganda time. A visit to a sacred tomb honoring the founder of Korea's first kingdom. Ali apparently goes ahead of everybody. Tuco Scorpio and Scott Norton tell the story. He jogs up to the top of the stairs of this memorial or tomb that they have there and shadow boxes and does the Ali shuffle. Scorpio says that it made his whole trip. And Scott Norton also talks about that was just a moment that he would never forget and kind of made the trip worth it for him.
Yeah. Okay, well, I mean, I guess no one does get an actual trip with Muhammad Ali. There's only but so many people that can say, yeah, I went on a trip and was with Muhammad. I was like in his presence. Yeah. So I guess if this is one thing that you can take away from the disaster of a trip, then I guess that would be it.
Pretty much. Let's go to Scorpio.
I don't want to go.
Tells that he tries after this, great moment for all the wrestlers seeing, Ali in his basically in his glory. He tells a story about how he tries to make like a peace treaty with Road Warrior Hawk, and Hawk is having nothing of it. Another fight breaks out where Hawk turns around and tries to punch Scorpio. He punches him and they get into a whole different scuffle where the wrestlers have to pull them apart. Then at a dinner, Scorpio
in front of damn Korean people, like y'all don't understand, like I don't get it, like why y'all keep doing this in front of the people, like this country, you already see that they want to kill y'all and you keep having fights with this damn man. Like, come on now.
Scorpio at the dinner that they have this whole special dinner for the wrestlers. Scorpio is able to retrieve 2 stainless steel chopsticks. He shares a room with Benoit, and in the room he is sharpening his chopsticks to make a shift. Tuco Scorpio tells the story that saying that his father was in jail, so he knows how to make a shift from him. And he tells Chris Benoit he's gonna stab Hawk.
He was gonna kill that motherfucker himself.
And if that is not funny enough, of all the people, Chris Benoit is the one trying to talk some wisdom into him and tells him to not kill Road Warrior Hawk.
You know what? That is you put some. Wow, SP. Wow. Wow.
Let me repeat that for everyone who missed it. Chris Benoit is the voice of reason to Tuco Scorpio, telling him not to kill someone. I'll let that marinate for a little.
1995, friends.
1995 for you. So we finally make it to the event, the May Day Stadium. 170,000 are there for the first night. Bischoff is so proud of himself. Flair knew better though. A forced crowd. It was basically there by the North Korean government. This is basically their peace party festival, and then it goes into the wrestling event. The crowd has no idea what they're watching, and it's clear as day. I did a little research research before watching this Dark Side of the Ring episode. And the Benoit's two-core Scorpio match is the first match in front of this crowd on that first night. It's a huge crowd. And Benoit and two-core Scorpio are out there working their ass off. It's a match that wouldn't look out of place on an AEW Dynamite or a SmackDown or an NXT today. But those fans were quiet as shit. Like literally, it was like humming. It was just a humming sound underneath the wrestling. Like literally no cheering. They were on their hands. Like these guys were working their ass off. Fast-paced sequences going back and forth. Benoit hits a great tombstone and then hits a diving headbutt to absolute silence.
Wow.
Yes, so everyone is busting their ass, as Scott Norton describes. Hawk curses out the crowd during his match, getting on the second rope, asking, what the hell are you guys doing? So basically, on the second night, they had even more people. They have 190,000 on the second night, and it was basically up to same thing goes on for the majority of that show as well, where the fans are basically sitting on their hands during the matchup. But it was up to, of course, Antonio Inoki being the biggest star from Japan and a big star, a recognized star in North Korea, to garner a reaction from this crowd. But first, we learn a little history about the story of Rikidōzan, who was the mentor of Antonio Inoki. He's a wrestling icon in Japan who kept a secret for his entire career that he was from North Korea because of the whole issue between Japan and North Korea at this time. He was murdered in a bar by Japanese gangsters in Japan. In North Korea, this becomes like mythology. His final breath was him expressing a loyalty to North Korea. So his association with Rikidōzan gives Antonio Inoki plenty of credibility in North Korea, where he gets more of like a hometown reaction. What was your thoughts on this whole story and the mythology, North Korean mythology behind Rikidōzan, Krssi?
Most of these people, I didn't even know who they were until I was watching this documentary. And it was very interesting to hear the story about him. And, you know, they as the man was describing the story, he was like, he was killed by some thugs. No, they were gangsters. They were about that life, and they didn't. They killed him because they thought he was a traitor and a liar. Like, let's just call it what it is. Don't sugarcoat it for us, friend. We know what you're talking about. But it was very interesting to hear the story, you know, as he told it to us.
Yeah, it was a crazy story, and man, this elevates the legacy of Rikidōzan to me. He is the guy that basically trained Antonio Inoki. If you don't know the history of Antonio Inoki, he is the founder and owner of New Japan Pro Wrestling, which is one of the biggest promotions in wrestling still to this day. And he was the trainer of Giant Baba, who was the founder and creator of All Japan Wrestling. So two of the biggest promotions in Japanese wrestling of the past 2 decades. Rikidōzan, you could say, was the originator of it all, because he trained the two guys that found those 2 big promotions. The
man said he's the Vince McMahon of the of Japan.
Yeah, he's the Vince McMahon of Japan, that's for sure. We got our Rambo saying 2 Code is amazing wrestler. Absolutely. I would say out of all the matches at Collision in Korea, definitely check out the Inoki versus Flair match, but check out the 2 Code Scorpio versus Chris Benoit match. Those 2 guys had so much chemistry together. I've seen a couple of their matches in ECW, which were great. And this match at Collision in Korea, despite the crowd not knowing what the hell they were watching, it was great action throughout. Rambo talking about the crowd. Yes, that's a huge crowd. 170,000 on night 1, 190,000 on night 2. So
yes,
ridiculous. And Rambo showing his Kenny Omega hate. He says, send Kenny Omega with Don Callis to North Korea.
Wow. My favorite Flav. Wow.
Wow. We got a question here from Mark Lloyd. He says, hi, random question. I picked up a random pay-per-view on network, and on pay-per-view, Howard Finkel introduced Lillian as a shit. It was really weird. I always thought he was a nice guy. You basically picked up on a pay-per-view where Howard Finkel was feuding with Lillian Garcia, when Lillian Garcia was basically taking the torch from Howard Finkel and becoming the main ring announcer for WWE. Howard Finkel turned heel and basically was the heel counterpart to Lillian Garcia at this time. So that's the reason. He's still a nice guy. He was just playing a character. Mark Lloyd, thank you for joining us, and let us know what you thought about Collision in Korea. Zachary, Nathan's son, tells us his thoughts, and he says it's like the Twilight Zone over at North Korea. That's the best way to describe it, I will say.
It is definitely like that. Yep, for sure.
And of course, he has to give us the quote from Hulk Hogan. I just love the quote from Hogan that Bischoff told him about wrestling in North Korea. Can't make that one, brother. Vintage Hogan.
So good.
So we move on to talk about the big main event matchup of Collision in Korea, which was Antonio Inoki versus Ric Flair. Eric Bischoff tells the story about how the fans kind of reacted to Ric Flair. They don't know what to make of him. He's got beach blonde hair. He's wearing like a sequence robe. He basically, it's like they react to him like he might as well be an alien. They get behind Inoki halfway through the match. Eric says it's a testament to the greatness of Ric Flair. Inoki wins and the place erupts. Norton says these people were probably entertained for the first time in their lives.
Yeah, for sure.
It honestly seemed like that. I would tell everyone, if you just watched the Dark Side of the Ring episode, please watch Collision in Korea. It's available on like different streaming sites. I know WrestlingNetwork.in has it available. I know I've watched it on there. So definitely check it out. It's worth your time because
the
crowd reaction is crazy. It's like
nothing there. They give you nothing.
It's 170, 190 people, but it's like 25 people. It's like you're at an independent show in a school gym. It's like quiet.
Silence
is golden.
A pin drop, right?
A pin could drop. So we're almost at the finish line of getting out of North Korea. So they have one last dinner, and it's one last chance for Tuco Scorpio to kill Road Warrior Hawk. They run into each other face to face. Scorpio tells Hawk, "Do you want to go? Do you want to go? Do you want to finish this?" They get into an elevator, which Tuco Scorpio says that he has to back into, back first to make sure he doesn't turn his back on Hawk. And basically, they're still going at it in the elevator where Tuco is asking him if he wants to finish this. Hawk apologizes, saying that he lost his nerves because he had no steroids, no pills, no smoke. So they basically squash the beef. But Tuco Scorpio makes sure to let Hawk know that when they fly back to Japan, if he still wants to finish this, he's ready to go because he still's got his shift. Tuco Scorpio, he is my uncle. He's we just lost Uncle Jerome, and we got Uncle Scorpio on this episode of Dark Side of the Ring.
Definitely.
So they fly back to Japan, and of course, as soon as they land, Ric Flair gets off of the plane and he kisses the pavement. He turns into full Flair. He's wooing and very excited. How would you would have reacted when you landed in Japan, Krssi Luv?
I probably would have did the same exact thing. Like, thank you for bringing me back home, because this right here, I will never, one, forget this, and two, I'm not coming. Well, I don't want to come back. You probably won't let me back, and I don't want to come back either. So I would have probably kissed the ground and thank God for bringing me back safely, because they took my stuff. I didn't even think I was going to be able to come back home.
Oh man, you didn't know if you were going to see your family again when you went on this trip. Inoki gets out of politics after this event, after losing his re-election bid. Jericho he narrates a great line about how wrestling and North Korea are a lot of at blurring the lines of fantasy and reality. Basically talking about how North Korea made people believe that Americans were evil and that Japanese were like their biggest enemies. And it's kind of similar to wrestling, where some guys like we talked about a couple of weeks ago, like Brian Pillman, he kind of blurred the lines of being the loose cannon. You didn't know if that was really who he was and he was really crazy, or he was just really playing his role very well. So it's a great analogy and a great comparison between the two. We get some humor at the end end of this episode with Tuco Scorpio bragging about how he wrestled in front of a bigger crowd than Hulk Hogan. He's like Hulk Hogan. He was like, I don't got too many things on Hulk Hogan, but I wrestled in front of 190,000. You didn't, brother.
Yeah, it was 170. Or was it 80?
On night 170 on night 1, 190 on night 2. So
Right.
he did wrestle in front of 190. But to him, he wrestled in front of 190 on 2 nights, not just
2 nights. No. So that one up is twice.
You got 2 up on him. 2 up on him. You ain't do it once, brother.
Did it twice.
Eric Bischoff says also in a braggadocious way, talking about how Vince was probably livid at the bigger crowd at Collision in North Korea being a bigger crowd than Mania. But he does also mention that these were non-paying fans and were basically forced to be there by the North Korean government. But still, when you look up the biggest wrestling crowd in history, you will always see Collision in North Korea when you Google that. So do you, since we're at the end here, my question for you, Miss Krssi Luv, do you get Eric Bischoff's decision to run the show in North Korea with everything that we learned throughout this episode?
I understood his intent of why he wanted to do it and the reasoning to go. He only thought it was like a general peace treaty, something good. He didn't think about all the things that was going to happen once he got over there. So I think his intentions were good. Definitely were good. Let's put a show on over in Korea. No problem. Let me get some of my guys and we'll be there. So his intentions were good with a little bit of evil attached to it. But hey, but yes, all intentions of going there to do something good to entertain people. That's what their job. That's what he wanted to do.
Yeah, and I think by the end of night 2 with Inoki and Flair, they did a good job at entertaining them. And like Scott Norton said, they were probably entertained for the first time in their life.
I think you forgot one thing. Remember when they were going to the stadium and they're in the car and Norton was like, oh my God, all these people are coming to see us. And the lady was like, no, they're forced to come. He was like, what? Because he couldn't just believe all the people. They didn't know how many people they were going to entertain. They just knew that they were there to entertain these people. And as they seen the people going in droves, they're like, wow, this is unbelievable. Like, we're doing something good. No. The government has forced them to be there. And if they don't come, they'll get killed.
It's crazy. This was in 1995.
Right.
25 years ago. Like, it wasn't like we're talking about the 70s, the 80s. Right. We're talking about 25 years ago. We're talking about the mid-90s. It's insane.
The mid-90s. Yep. And they were going to get killed if they did not leave their house to come see this show. So no wonder the whole country was there.
We got Rambo laughing at Ric Flair being looked at as an alien.
And his robe.
His sequined robe looking like an alien to the North Korean people. And he says, imagine it though, these people have only seen very black and white of lifestyle. Then you see wrestlers wearing this crazy stuff. Yeah, it's
true. It's very true. That's so true, Rambo.
It's a culture shock for sure. So Rambo says fantasy and reality, North Korea do a better job at that than Tony. Everything's always great Khan. He's always with the hating on AEW and Tony Khan. Wow. Sheesh, this guy's got
he's a WWE mark, huh?
Yeah. No. Okay. He just doesn't like AEW or WWE apparently.
He's the New Japan mark. Okay. Yeah. Great. All right, Rambo. No problem.
Mark Lloyd says, I can't stand Tony either. He's ruined my football club. I can't wait to see him back at Graven Cottage next season when I chant at him again. I think he's on too many happy pills like Jack Nicholson's Joker character. Wow. We're accusing him of drug use. Sheesh.
Mark, really? If I had pearls, I'd be clutching my pearls.
And we got the true draw, Josh Marrero saying, damn, North Korea tapped into Romeo's Wi-Fi. Yep.
Yeah.
They were listening to our live stream. They heard Romeo saying a little bit too many bad things about North Korea, so they decided to take him out. They even decided to take me out shortly and tap into my Wi-Fi when they heard me about to talk bad. The only person they didn't mess with was Miss Krssi Luv. Miss Krssi Luv's too tough for North Korea. Yeah,
man, I was too tough. I worked it out today. I had a little issues yesterday, as you'll see tomorrow's episode, but better than
Absolutely. So we come to a close on this episode of Dark Side of the Ring. So Krssi Luv, you know it's about that time. MVP, LVP and how we rated this episode. Let's start off with who was the MVP out of all the talking heads on the Collision in Korea episode of Dark Side of the Ring.
Small shout out to Scorpio, but I'm gonna have to give it to Norton.
Scott Norton, yes, I want to give it like a co-MVP, but I'm gonna choose one over the other, even though I feel like I'm just gonna say it. He was full of shit on the whole Hawk story. Tuco Scorpio was just too entertaining to not win MVP of this one. Scott Norton,
he was so happy to be even invited to just talk on this, and I was like, man, you got my mouth's full of splits. Swallow the stuff, man. Come on, get it together. He's definitely like somebody's uncle. I know. I'm sure he could be one of my uncles. I don't know.
And his teeth was all over the place, but Tuco Scorpio, he's still wrestling to this day.
Is he really?
Yes, he was just at GCW's For the Culture show during WrestleMania weekend. I think he versed Rich Swann at that event. So
what? God bless him, yo.
And he's still busting out 450s and moonsault leg drops.
No, really?
Yes, Tuco Scorpio still got it. He still got it. So I got to give my MVP to Tuco Scorpio. He was just too entertaining to not give the MVP, even though I'm just going to say it out loud. I think the Hawk story was a little full of shit.
Maybe one fight happened, but not like three fights.
3 or 4 fights. I don't think he was about to stab him.
Making the shanks.
I think it's a little bit too unbelievable about what we already know about Chris Benoit, that Chris Benoit was the voice of reason. So there's a couple of things where I just tend to not believe him all the way with the stories that he tells. But man, oh man, was he entertaining telling these stories. He's a pro wrestler. He's a storyteller, and he did a great job during this episode.
Yeah.
My honorable mention is, of course, to Scott Norton. He did great, and Eric Bischoff as well. But
I think Eric did a great job. But they spoke more to the other guys than Eric, because again, Eric didn't even know most of the things that was happening anyway. Does he even know that Scott Norton, was even like taken and abrupted from being on a phone call with his wife?
Yeah, it didn't seem like Eric knew any of that after that stuff was really going on. Like he just knew about his story with the jog that he took. So who would the LVP of this episode be for you, Miss Krssi Luv?
I don't know. Maybe Bischoff, I guess.
Bischoff, that's a good choice.
Yeah, Bischoff. He's the reason that everyone went over there and you put everyone's lives in danger. Yeah, Eric Bischoff for the win, friend.
Eric Bischoff, I think not knowing the story of Tuco Scorpio almost killing Hawk in North Korea. Yep. He didn't really know about a lot of what was going on with he did know about Scott Norton having issues, because when you do watch Collision in Korea, he actually talks about how Norton was having issues with the military following him around in his hotel room, because Eric Bischoff is on commentary during the show. So he actually talks about Norton having those issues during his matchup against on this night. So maybe he did know, but he didn't really care. I don't know.
Right.
But at the end of the day, Eric Bischoff was the one that made the decision to take his talent to North Korea.
For this trip?
Huh?
Did they get paid for this trip?
I'm sure they did. I'm sure they had to. They had to. I don't think they would.
I'm sure Rick Flag made sure he got his cash before he even landed on that plane. Yes, yeah. Make sure that check clear.
Especially if he was salty about being the second choice, being asked after
Hogan. I'm about to say the same thing, SP. He probably asked for a little bit more money. You can't get Hogan? Give me a little bit more money. Thank you. For sure.
I'll take that.
I can buy me another nice suit and some shoes.
So yes, I'm gonna have to give my LVP. Agree with you. I'm gonna give it to Eric Bischoff. Romeo is still commenting in the live chat, even though he's not able to rejoin us because North Korea has completely shut him out. He says his MVP is a co-MVP for Scott Norton and Tuco Scorpio. Definitely well deserved. Krssi gave hers to Scott Norton. I gave mine to Tuco Scorpio. So Romeo was right in the middle, and his LVP is North Korea, especially for taking him out of this live stream here. So
that's a good one. We should have said that one. Yep, you're right. We should have said that. I'm sorry, Romeo. Next time.
Absolutely. Next week, Dark Side of the Ring, for sure. We got Romeo will be with us, and North Korea will not. Work against him. So, out of 10, what did you give this episode of Dark Side of the Ring, Season 3, Episode 4, Collision in North Korea, Miss Krssi Luv?
7.
7 out of 10.
7 out of 10.
Overall, what was your overall arching thoughts on the episode?
Very bizarre. I know their intentions were for good. They definitely were for good. So, but very bizarre.
Very bizarre would be an understatement. Like I said at the beginning, I said bizarre was my one word to describe this
You said bizarre,
ordeal and this show. But yeah, this was like entering the Twilight Zone, entering a war zone, and not knowing if you were going to make it back home. This was a fascinating trip down memory lane with this entire episode. Like Romeo said at the top, like you said, this was a show that I didn't know too much about, but I was definitely intrigued, interested in, and highly entertained throughout the entire episode. So I gave this episode an 8 out of 10. I thought this was a quality episode, not as great as the Pillman episode.
Right.
I wasn't as entertained with the Nick as I was with the Nick Gage episode.
Oh, that was so good.
But this one was definitely the one where I learned the most about something
I didn't know it.
Like I knew a lot about the Brian Pillman's career, and of course, like the ending of his life and the ending of his career in like WWF. I knew a lot about like Nick Gage and his match against David Arquette. I didn't know too much about his early career, but I knew about a lot of the stuff that has happened lately. This was 100% a show that I didn't know anything about. I literally watched the first hour of the event, literally right before I watched this episode. So this was fascinating to watch.
Oh wow, you made sure you did you watched it first and then watched the event. Nice. Okay.
I watched an hour of the event, then I watched the show, and then I almost finished the entire event. I still have Inoki versus Flair to watch.
Okay.
Let us know in the live chat or in the comments section if you're watching us on demand if you would like us to review the entire Collision in Korea event. That would be great. We can even do like a live stream review of that.
Right, that'd be fun.
Let us know in the comments. We got a couple of ratings here that we got to get into. We got Romeo saying rating 9.5.
Oh, wow.
Entertaining. Just wish Flair could have told his parts of the story.
Me too.
His delivery and his laughs. I think that was why I gave it an 8 out of 10 because
that's why I gave it a 7. Yep.
Ric Flair was one of the big ones who was missing out, where I would have loved to hear what he thought, especially 25 years later. What was his memories from that?
Yes, definitely.
That crazy trip to North Korea.
And I'm sure he would have had the stories to tell. He has his own stories to tell on the side.
Yeah, his own stories about how he was in his hotel room, or if he went for a jog or something. He was viewed as a freaking alien with his blonde hair and everything.
Yeah, definitely. So he's definitely one of the missing heads, talking heads from this episode. And I really wish that he was able to, speak on it.
For sure. We got Mark Lloyd giving it a 7.5 out of 10. We also got Romeo saying it's sad you can see the parallels of what went on with North Korea and Japan and what goes on in parts of the world today.
Facts.
Yeah, it's kind of similar. True. I would say that the only thing that we can say in wrestling that's similar to this is WWE's relationship with Saudi Arabia today. And now after watching this episode, it's not even close. I would prefer going to Saudi Arabia over North Korea.
For sure. At least the people are entertained there. They're excited to see them come there. And I'm sure they're not tapping all their phone lines.
I just can't wait for the Dark Side of the Ring episode on the guys being held hostage in Saudi Arabia after this episode.
Yes, I forgot all about SP. You're on to something, friend.
That's gonna be great.
That's gonna be. They definitely got to do that one. I can't wait to see that.
We got Mark Lloyd saying 7.5. We got our good brother Heel Steven. He's saying you're welcome to the live stream, brother. Love to see you here. He's gonna have a huge announcement on his live stream later today. So go over and check out Heel Steven. He's definitely a YouTube channel that's worth checking out. Then we got We got Mark Lloyd saying he gave a rookie score for for this edition here. We got the Wrestling Lowdown Show, one of our great supporters. Hey, he says hello to us. He gives it a 7.4. He said, wish it was a bit longer. I think we would have got like a little bit more information for sure if it was a little longer. I don't necessarily think that it needed to be like an hour and a half, 2 hours, like the Brian Pillman episode.
Right.
But probably if Flair was involved, we could have stretched this out just a little bit more.
Definitely.
Mark Lloyd said David Porter from Barstool Pizza Review always uses a point, so 7.2 he gives instead of his 7.5 that Mark Lloyd gave us earlier. Hill Steven says, ain't gonna lie, it had me wanting some Korean barbecue.
Oh, Steven, that's funny.
Hill Steven with the best comment of the live chat so far.
That's a good one, friend.
Love it. I love it. Mark Lloyd says, I assume Romeo doesn't have much TV to score it that high. Oh, damn. Mark Lloyd coming for Romeo's neck. Okay. I love to see it.
I was about to say, Romeo can't defend himself, friend. Well, he could defend himself in the chat, so never mind.
Exactly. He can defend himself in the chat. It's all right. He said, not just wrestling, everything. And then Hill Stevens says North Korea makes Saudi feel like a resort vacation. Absolutely.
Right. It does.
Absolutely. That's what I said. I prefer going to Saudi Arabia over North Korea after watching this episode. And then Mark Lloyd with one more comment. He says that price murders people though, so not exactly great either. And then he says that reporter was taken out. Maybe because
I don't know, because everyone never said anything after that.
Yeah, we did. I didn't even mention that we had like a former CNN reporter who was covering the wrestling event who contributed to this episode of Dark Side of the Ring. And Romeo lets us know that North Korea scored it for him. Romeo is in the same room as Scott Norton, and he's being held hostage. That's why he gave it 9.5 out of 10. Oh, Mark Lloyd says Raw reviewer is making him not think right. Yes. Romeo is now on the Raw review, Rated Raw Superstars with Drunk Guy JJ. After this live stream is over, you could check it out. It's a great review of Monday Night Raw, probably more entertaining than 3 hours of Monday Night Raw, in my opinion. And
definitely so.
Mark Lloyd says limited entertainment makes anything seem good. And yes, I think the people in North Korea would also give this episode 9.5 out of 10. So thank you guys for contributing to the live chat. We love the interaction. We love engaging with you guys during these live streams. Our next live stream is going to be on Monday for the A&E biography review of The Ultimate Warrior. And Krssi, what a coincidence. Tell them what is the next episode of Dark Side of the Ring.
It will be Ultimate Warrior. So you have 2 documentaries of the same person in 1 week. I'm so excited.
So Monday, we will review the A&E biography edition of the Ultimate Warrior review. And then next Friday, we will be back live with you for our Dark Side of the Ring Ultimate Warrior review. And on Friday, when we review this, we will determine which one was better. Which one was better between Dark Side of the Ring or A&E biography? Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Dark Side of the Ring. Dark Side of the Ring.
Are you sure? You sure, friend? We'll find. You got to find out next Friday.
Next Friday. A couple more comments are coming in. We said Heel Steven said I would have been crazy if they got someone of the Force audience to be interviewed for this episode. You're definitely right. That would have been dope. That would have been dope if they would have got one of the audience members, someone that was living in North Korea during this
at that time. Yeah, that would have made it a 10.
Yeah,
that would have made it a 10.
That would have made it the 9.5 that Romeo gave it. Mark Lloyd says, thank you so much, Krssi and SP3. He asks, what time UK is it up? I'm not too sure about the A&E biography. I know I've had a couple of people in our comment section for our A&E biography reviews asking us, for the UK and Canada folks, how can they watch it? I've shared it. If you go back and to our A&E biography review for Shawn Michaels, I did share a link for the streaming site that I use for a lot of the reviews for the shows that I watch for the A&E biography. It's wrestlingnetwork.in that I usually use, so you can go and try that. They might have that up. As far as UK time for our review, our A&E biography review of The Ultimate Warrior, we're going to go live on Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. It's 4 p.m. BST. So we try to keep it in that 11 a.m. Sometimes it's earlier. It might be 10 a.m. or 12 p.m. But within that range, I'm gonna say tentatively for you in the UK, Mark Lloyd, we're gonna go live on Monday at 4 p.m. UK time. And Wrestling Lowdown Show, still putting in the comments. You guys are awesome in the live chat. Keep it coming. We're gonna be with you for a couple more minutes. He says, my family came from communist country. It's scary.
Wow.
They do whatever they want to you,
Yeah.
and you're in their yard, and you can get anything outside help or very little to get help. Wow, man, that's a awesome story. Scary story, but still awesome that you have family that came from communist country, so you understand
What that yep.
a lot more than we do. So Wrestling Lowdown Show, thank you for joining us and sharing that with us. And then Mark Lloyd says, I agree, having a person from crowd to describe what it felt like, he thinks it would have been cool. So yeah, there was stuff that they could have added to this episode. That's why I think it was a solid 8, because I did learn a lot. I thought it was entertaining. I thought Tuco Scorpio, Scott Norton were great contributors to this piece, but I didn't think it was as good as the previous 2 episodes of this ring as far as entertainment value.
Right.
Knowledge and learning things, I think this was the best one, but as far as everything else, I think the Pillman and Nick Gage episodes were slightly better. How about you, Krssi?
Definitely so. This is only the 3rd episode?
This is technically the 4th episode because the Pillman episodes are 1 and 2.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I feel like it's they've done so good so far. They did the first one, that was the best one. The second one, this is the third. This is the 3rd one, so this is good. I think the order we have ranked it is good so far. We'll see what happens when we see Ultimate Warriors one. I think that will go in front of the Nick Gage.
I think especially because we're gonna have the direct comparison to the A&E
episode. We have a lot of notes to compare with, because someone gonna be lying and someone gonna be telling us the real good side and somebody's gonna tell us the real dark side. And they got Jake the Snake on this on dark side, and I can't damn wait. So
man, this is gonna be good. Warrior one should be good. She also says, sorry I couldn't comment. In show had to listen instead. My baby is in the crying hour. Don't worry. I totally understand. I have twins, 1 year old. Krssi Luv has 2 boys. They're a little bit older now, so she doesn't know the baby times right now, but she has.
They cry for other things. They fight more, so you know.
Yeah. A little much, but yes, that brings us to a close on this edition of our Dark Side of the Ring season 3 review for the Collision in Korea. Miss Krssi Luv, please tell the fine folks where they can find you on social media and the True Hill Heat YouTube channel.
I am the sensation Miss Krssi Luv. You can find me on our weekly podcast show, which is True Hill Heat with my good brother SP and Top Guy JJ. We are on every week. So you can find me on there. I am on social media at Krssi Luv or just Miss Krssi Luv _. I'm on IG, Twitter, and on Facebook.
Yes, follow her, support Miss Krssi Luv, and you will see Miss Krssi Luv tomorrow when we drop True Hill Heat 126. We get into a lot of news, the AEW moving over to TBS. We talk about the WWE NXT releases. One big release that happened. I want to get your thoughts because I had to. You'll notice on this episode of True Hill Heat 126, you'll notice a little addition to the episode. I'd had to do a voiceover for the big news that Velveteen Dream was released from the WWE contract yesterday. Krssi Luv, since you're not able to talk about it on True Hill Heat when it drops tomorrow, what is your thoughts on Velveteen Dream getting released from his WWE contract?
Literally, as we finished doing the episode, and I'm getting ready to watch Dark Side, and I see that, I'm like, yo, this is like top news of them all. This ranks out of everything that we just spoke about. And I'm not sure when it showed in itself because he hasn't been on TV in like months.
Yeah.
He hasn't been on there in months. So it was like, I thought you guys were standing behind him. Then you brought him back on for maybe a few things. We're like, well, why is he wrestling this person? Why is he wrestling that person? He doesn't seem like the old Velveteen that we all fell in love with. And shame on them for not letting it go then. Now, if you did this, then you should be, you should be, brought up and you held accountable for your actions. Absolutely. So if you guys were not going to stand behind him, you should just let him go from the get-go. He could have been working somewhere else. So, yeah. I mean, shame on them for holding him back all this time. If you didn't want to stand behind him, if he was cleared for his charges, then that's it, But I mean, that is a big, big thing. I don't know where he would go right now. I don't know who would pick him up. I'm not sure if the stuff is still following him in the, in the shadows. So, I mean, I don't know. I was very surprised when I seen it though.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that we can confirm is that he did have the arrest warrant last year, April 2020, with this car accident that happened where he went up to a person's car and broke their window, punching in their window, and he had an arrest warrant against him. There was a lot of allegations of unprofessionalism in the backstage area for him, and as well as the allegations during the Speaking Out movement that he was grooming underage girls and boys. So there was a lot of controversy, marring him, and a lot of people were asking on social media after the release why it took this long, but it's a lot. We will tell you, all the details that we do know. I did a little voiceover for True Hill Heat 126, so you'll notice that Krssi Luv and Top Guy JJ aren't able to talk about that, as well as new news that dropped this morning that WWE is officially returning. We heard it from Andrew Zarian. He reported it last week, but WWE has made it official that they are returning to live events with fans starting on July 16th with SmackDown in Houston, Texas. That will follow 2 nights later with Money in the Bank on July 18th, also in Texas, and then Monday Night Raw on July 19th in Dallas, Texas. So a whole bunch of news that we talked about on True Hill Heat 126, but even more news has happened since we taped that episode. So you will hear about the news on this episode of True Hill Heat, but we will probably hear more of the comments from Krssi Luv and Top Guy JJ on True Hill Heat 127 next week.
Yep.
Check out True Hill Heat 126 when it drops tomorrow. We got Rambo and Rachel saying thanks for this episode. Thank you for watching us and joining us. I don't know, Rambo talking about Tyler Breeze had more potential, and look what happened to him on the main roster, talking about with Velveteen Dream leaving, but Tyler Breeze never had the controversy.
I would say Tyler Breeze didn't have, you didn't, I mean, unless we don't know something about that.
Yeah, I mean, they were a good comparison years ago, not after what we've heard about Velveteen Dream in the past year, but yes, we check out True Hill Heat 126 tomorrow when it drops. Of course, you could follow our good brother Romeo if he makes it out of that room with the North Korean military.
I hope so.
You can follow him at the Pride of NY on Twitter and Instagram. Also, you could see him on Rated Raw Superstars, which is up right now on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, as well as NX3 with Chris G and Ness, and that's going to drop over the weekend as well. And you can follow me, your True Heel Phenom, SP3, at True Heel SP3 on Twitter. You can see the latest episode of Powered 4 SP3 over on the Powered 4 TV YouTube channel. The latest episode of Wrestling Daily, Wednesday's episode with myself and Alex McCarthy, where we talk about AEW moving to TBS over on the Wrestling Daily YouTube channel. And I'll be back on the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel next Friday with Smack Talk with Rick Ducino and Dutch Mantel. And you can follow the gang at True Hill Heat on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Like this video, share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family. We want to thank everyone who's watching us on YouTube, as well as everyone watching us on Facebook and Twitter. Like this video, give us a heart emoji, a laugh emoji, an angry emoji. However, The Dark Side of the Ring, Season 3, Episode 4, Collision in Korea episode made you feel. Let us know with those expressions. Let us know in the comments section below. If you're new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content right here on True Hill. So, for Miss Krssi Luv, it is me, your True Heel Phenom SP3. This has been our Dark Side of the Ring Collision in Korea Season 3, Episode 4 review. We are signing off until